At Circuit World, we offer a wide selection of major appliances, name brands like Whirlpool, LG, Frigidaire, and more. Looking for furniture? Come by and browse our showroom or check out the Endless Aisle, a touchscreen kiosk with thousands of options. Need electronics, gaming computers, laptops, desktops, tablets? We have it all. OLED or QLED, 4K or high def. We have the selection to get you the TV of your dreams. And don't forget, at Circuit World, your credit is always good. So ask about our convenient payment options and 120 days same as cash. Come see us today at one of our 5 area locations.
It's an opportunity you can't miss. Days Chevrolet in Jasper is stepping up and paying top dollar for your trade-in. Any make, any model. Days wants it, and we're paying top dollar to get it. So, what'll you do with all that cash? Shop for your new Chevy at DaveChevroletJasper.com. New vehicles are arriving weekly, or shop from our great selection of pre-owned inventory. Don't delay. Come get cash for your vehicle today at Days Chevrolet in Jasper.
Days Chevrolet. Days gets it done.
Find new roads.
Hey girl, back so soon?
Yeah.
Third time this morning.
Feeling too familiar with the bathroom these days? It's not just you.
Hey girl, look who made it 15 minutes.
At Erlanger Urology, we make it easy to talk about overactive bladder and treatments that work.
Hey girl, you not coming in?
No, I'm good.
Well, okay, I'll be here, cause I'm stuck.
Learn more at itsnotjustyou.com. Erlanger Urology.
In 1981, Reed Nicholson began selling tires out of an old barn in Mineral Bluff. Little did he know that he had just laid the groundwork for the most trusted names in automotive services in the Blue Ridge area. In 1997, Nicholson Tire Center became what it is today, holding the same values of faith, family, and great customer service. 2 locations to serve you, and the Blue Ridge location is currently expanding to offer fast service and the largest U-Haul provider in Georgia. Nicholson Tire Center, Blue Ridge, and Mineral Bluff.
Welcome in, everybody, to the Friday Night Press Box. I'm Chris Mathis. Glad to be here with you guys, joined by FYN sports reporter RJ Casey with the Pickens Dragons football program and what they have to offer. Again, we appreciate you guys joining us here, as always. Jake West, sports director at Team FYN Sports, will be on later with Tim Tao. But first and foremost, we want to talk about this game of the week, a big-time game for 2 programs with 2 first-year head coaches with their respective programs, that being visiting Michael Perry with Union County Panthers and, of course, Grant Myers, head coach of the home team, the Pickens County Dragons. Now, Union County was off last week. They had a bye week. But the Dragons did play RJ, and you guys picked up a big-time win against Coosa. I believe the final score 34-10. Talk a bit more about that game and what you guys prevailed on the road in Rome, Georgia.
Yeah, it was a long way there to get to Rome from Jasper. But the Dragons came out and they were looking to improve from a tough loss the week prior against White County. Started off with the opening kickoff. The Dragons kicked off and recovered a fumble on the return, and that was the first of 5 turnovers that the Dragons forced on the night. And the offense got going a little bit. We named Devin Hand the player of the week for the Dragons. Had 154 yards receiving and 2 touchdowns, and added a rushing touchdown as well on the night. But the Dragons got things going defensively. I was able to talk with Coach Myers after the ball game. While he was pleased with the win, he obviously, as coaches do, saw things that they can improve on. Especially, Coosa was able to keep drives going by converting some 3rd and longs and 4th downs and all that stuff. And he wants to be able to clean those things up, because once region play starts in a couple of weeks, those things are going to be key to keep offenses off the field and keep consistency with both your defense and offense. But they were really good. Coosa is I think they're up and coming. They've got some kids that can run the ball pretty well. They might make a little noise in their region play coming up here pretty soon. But it was a good win for the Dragons to get back on track heading into their final non-region game of the season.
Yeah, and RJ, I saw that interview that you had with Coach following the game, Coach Myers, and Yeah, it was a big win, obviously, 34-10. That's pretty much a blowout at that point. But as you said, he really referenced to, yeah, it was a good win. We're moving on to next week. More importantly, we can only imagine what we can do if we put in a little bit more work and we clean up those small errors, small mistakes. Just the sky's the limit for this program. So talk about Coach Myers and what's impressed you the most about first-year head coach of the Pickens County Dragons.
He's really got them running well. Like he's got the coaching staff on the same page, got the players on the same page, and he expects every bit of every kid, 100%. No matter who goes in, if somebody gets hurt, has to come out, next kid up, give it all they've got. What I like about Coach Myers is, yeah, they won 34-10 against Coosa, but there's still more you can work on. You can find nothing's ever going to be perfect, especially in head coach's eyes. Nothing's ever going to be perfect. You can always find things to work on, no matter if you're winning 34-10, if you're losing 34-10. You always find things to work on, and he always shows, well, yeah, we did this, but we need to work on this better to get even better, especially around playoff and region time and all that. He does a good job, and he's always there motivating the kids. He motivates them no matter what happens, and that's with all the coaches. All the coaches are just there to motivate the kids. Like, hey, I know something bad happens, but hey, keep your head up. You're going to go out there again, and you're going to make a play, next play. And I really enjoy it. It's a big atmosphere on the sidelines with Coach Myers and the coaching staff, and it's very enjoyable so far.
Yeah, and obviously what impressed me the most so far is the balance between your offense and your defense there in Pickens County. You guys are averaging 26 points per game and just giving up a little bit over 12 points. I believe it's 12.7 points per game. So two big differentials there between offense and points allowed as well. What side of the ball really stands out to you? I know there's probably pros for both sides, but what side of the ball really impresses you for the Dragons this year?
Probably the passing game. To me, honestly, I think the running game is there, and they have good success running on the outside of the O-line. But I think Coach Myers will tell you they'd like to get a little bit better running in between the tackles. They've had some success there, but there's a lot more to be desired. I think, in my opinion, but the passing game is working pretty well. Sam Stryker is finding everybody. His main target, Devin Hand, obviously, but he found Marcus Pike last week for a touchdown. That's his first varsity touchdown of his career. So congrats to Marcus there. He's got Marcus Pike. He's got Tom Fredette. He's got Isaiah Williams. These kids are 6'2", 6'3" targets, and you've got 2-3 of them out there at least at one time, and you've got to sprinkle in the run game as well with Caden Hampton and Miguel Salto, and the offense is there. There's consistency issues as there is with every team. Obviously, you're not wanting to. You want to score every time, obviously, but even if you don't, you want to at least move the ball down the field. So there's some consistency issues there, but defensively as well. Defensively, they're doing a good job of penetrating. Not very many sacks so far this year, but sacks aren't that big of a deal when you're getting pressure on the quarterback and forcing incompletions or getting turnovers or anything like that. Defense can work, like Coach Myers said last week, it worked on finishing drives themselves, forcing more 3-and-outs, forcing 4-and-outs, all that stuff. But those things will come in time. Both sides are still very young, really, and they're coming together pretty nicely and looking to improve as the season moves on.
Yeah, and again, if you guys are just now joining us here on the Friday Night Press Box powered by FYN Sports, I'm Chris Mathis, joined by Team FYN Sports reporter for the Pickens County Dragons, RJ Casey, as we discuss our game of the week as the Union County Panthers 0-2 travel to Jasper to take on the 2-1 Pickens County Dragons. And what I feel is going to be a very good game. I hope it's a very good game for both sides, whoever comes out with a victory. And I think it's going to be very electrifying up there in Jasper. Now, RJ, you talk about the receiving core and you talk about that big-time receiver. Mention those stats that he had against Coosa, nominated as the player of the week with FYN Sports.
Yeah, Devin Hand, he had 7 catches for 154 yards receiving and 2 touchdowns. Also added a 2-yard touchdown run in the first quarter. Devin Hand, he's a threat on both sides of the ball, really. He plays corner on defense, plays a good job at corner. But, he'll play wide receiver. He'll line up as a running back some. He'll line up at QB at some for specific plays. He's a great weapon that Coach Myers and the coaching staff does a very good job of finding spaces for him to work and for him to get the ball.
Yeah, no doubt. He's going to have a pretty exciting game this Friday night against Union County. Union County does have a pretty solid defensive back or two that I feel like is going to put up a test. But when you have 3 receivers that are over 6 foot tall, it's going to be very difficult for any defense to be able to shut down or slow down those receivers, RJ. Have you been able to make your way out to practice this week and talk with Coach about, kind of the game plan or the expectation for this Friday night?
Not this week. I haven't. Obviously, with the weather getting the way it is and raining and everything, it makes for tough tough ways to get out there. But I did put on my scouting hat, and I did watch a couple of Union games. I watched the one with Fannin, and I watched a little bit of the one with Chestatee as well. And I saw that Union defensively likes to throw maybe 1 or 2 extra defenders and a blitz most of the time. So that'll be interesting to see how combats that offensively. Are they going to keep a running back in to pick up a blitzer? What do they do with the offensive line? Do they roll striker out for more passes? How are they combat that? And offensively, it looked like Union runs with some tempo a little bit. I don't think they run as much tempo as Pickens does. Pickens runs a very fast tempo. If you've seen a game with the Dragons so far this year, they both run a little bit of tempo. So it's kind of a clash of styles a bit, but in a similar way. I think what Union probably throws it more than Pickens does probably. But it'll be an interesting style, especially with the weather. If it rains on Friday, which it looks like it's going to do on Friday, it'll be interesting to see what Union does offensively if they can get their run game going more on Friday, and if Pickens is able to contain it.
Yeah, no doubt. Again, talking about this upcoming game of the week here on FYN Sports, right here on the Friday Night Press Box. RJ, you hit the nail on the head there, talking in regards to the weather, the rushing attack for Union County. I'll be honest, the rushing attack has been non-existent in Union County. You take away Logan Helcher, who leads the team in rushing yards, 20 carries, 82 yards. There's not much of a rushing attack at all for that Panther offense. And if there's one game that you need to have it, it's a day in which the weather's not, perfect for the passing game. As you talk about, Union County does like to sling the rock around, and that's no secret for Michael Perry, first-year head coach of the Panther football program. But it really is going to come down to which team, and I say it time and time again, which team hangs on to the football and which team is going to be able to run the ball. And more importantly, I think if you're Union County, you kind of want to chew up the clock too. If you're able to run the ball, chew up the clock, and keep the ball out of that Dragon offense's hand, and obviously Striker's hand as well, as you guys have a very dangerous offense, especially for year one under Coach Grant Myers. So I think it's going to be very interesting. And you said that you've been able to see a couple of games, both the games that Union's played in, as they lost to Fannin County week 1, and then fell short against Chestatee on the road and almost overtime. Final minutes, final seconds of that game at Chestatee, in which they threw a pick six. It was 41-28, the final score. But that final drive, I mean, it was really, you're trying to get into the end zone anyways.
Yeah.
So basically 35-28, but a pick six,
and it looked like
41.
It looked like to me that was Union's first game back after the COVID break.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, they missed out against Commerce, and I was thinking that was going to be chalked up as a W, but missed out due to COVID.
Yeah, they just I think they may have ran out of gas a little bit towards the end. Not having to play for a week and having to shut down and everything. It's tough getting revved back up, especially when you're getting ready for a game like that against Chestatee, who looks like Chestatee is up and coming a little bit after struggling for the last couple of years. But yeah, I think they may have ran out of gas a little bit at the end.
Yeah, I would agree.
To no fault of their own. But
yeah, and that comes back to, obviously, with COVID against Commerce. Union was going to play Commerce the week before, but Union had COVID issues. It comes back to a couple of guys not being able to play in that game against Chestatee, several younger guys coming up, and number one, conditioning, because if you did have COVID or, if you weren't practicing, you show up to Friday Night Football and it's time to play at full game time speed. And like you said, Union was down early in that game, 20 points. They spotted Chestatee a quarter and a half in. It was tough. I've never seen a game at the high school level in which I've called a team be able to come back and make it a game, much less take the lead at some point. So, it was 20-0 there early in the second quarter, and I thought, man, this is going to be, a 48-0 type ball game if they don't get things turned around. And they were able to take a 21-20 lead there early in the third quarter. And it looked like Union was going to run away with it until midway through the fourth quarter. And then Chestatee was able to start rushing the ball again. And their running back found his go-go juice and picked up crucial third and fourth down conversions late down the stretch. And you could tell, once Union started to make a few arm tackles and miss those tackles, that Union was in trouble. And it was really going to come down to, if they could execute offensively and obviously, work with clock management and that Chestatee offense and also and their defense, and also against the clock too. They were worried about the clock, a little over 2 minutes left. But who were a couple of the guys, if you can recall their numbers even, that stood out to you from Union's tapes that you've been able to see so far?
Obviously, the QB.
Logan Helcher, senior quarterback, wears a.
Yeah, did a good job of helping lead the comeback. It looked like offensively, and I heard you had mentioned they like to go with that wheel route type of play, that they went with that for a good while. They've got some tall kids. I can't.
You're probably talking about number 9, the outside receiver.
Yeah.
He had a good.
He had a big game. I saw he had a pretty big catch that led to a touchdown. So he's going to be a kid that the Dragons will have to look out for. Obviously, like we talked about, the run game hasn't been what they may have wanted it to be so far, but outside of the QB. But they've still got kids. They've still got athletes that can run the ball, and all it takes is one good game to give kids confidence. Like, hey, we can actually run the ball on teams. So while it's not their main source of offense right now, doesn't mean it's not going to work every week. So you're gonna have to key on kids every play. But Fannin looked, I'm sorry, not Fannin, but Union looks good offensively. Obviously, I think you said they got young kids on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, they
playing.
do. No doubt.
They might have some kids. They're probably going to have some kids back that didn't play last week.
Yeah, exactly. Again, talking about our game of the week. with Pickens County Dragon reporter with FIN Sports, RJ Casey. I'm Chris Mathis, and getting a little bit of a fill there for the Pickens County Dragon football program. 2-1 under first-year head coach of the Dragons, Grant Myers. They look really good so far and truly impressive. Now, RJ, you know it as well as I do. I was looking at that Commerce game as kind of a measuring stick for this game, and you guys whooped up on Commerce. I believe it was 37-6, something like that.
Yeah.
And Union did not get to play that game, so my measuring stick, it went out the window per se. But Union County 0-2 to start off this season. They missed out on that Week 2 matchup against Commerce due to COVID concern. Week 1, the Panthers fell short on the road against a very good Fannin County Rebel football program. And Tim Tao could tell you about that game. And then they fell short 2 weeks ago against Chestatee in Gainesville. 41-28, the final score of that one. Now, Logan Helcher had a good game. We talked about it. He went 17 of 27, 262 passing yards through the air. That might have been his best performance under center in his career as the Panther quarterback. He had 4 touchdown passes. If you include that pick 6, he had 5, but he doesn't want to talk about that. But I talked with him after the game, and he said, yeah, obviously a bad read on my part, but if there's one time that it is okay to make a play like that or have a play like that happen, it's non-region game, it's early in the season, and you learn from those mistakes. Now, Keaton Chitwood, outside receiver, somebody to watch out for. He wears number 9. He had his breakout game, 4 catches, 77 yards, 2 touchdowns, one of which I think you referred to a few moments ago, went 58 yards for a touchdown. And then also I spoke on the rushing attack for Union County a couple of times so far. Kind of non-existent other than Logan Helcher. 20 carries on the year, 82 rush yards. But Week 1 against Fannin, they had Eli Pugh, a guy that was playing starting defensive back. You'll see him on Friday night. Starting special team gunner. And then also started Week 1 as the running back. Played over 110 snaps Week 1 against Fannin. I think he had 7 carries for 0 yards. He was gassed. I mean, pretty much understandable. Not typically a running back. And then 2 weeks ago against Chestatee, they moved Caleb Rogers, a younger guy, to start tailback. Now, while he didn't have much success running the football, he had a great game out of the backfield. I want to say, let's see here, I've got it written, 7 catches out of the backfield, 111 yards for a running back out of the backfield and a touchdown. And that's coming off one of those real wheel route type plays. And I think obviously with him knowing that he's now the guy, they're going to try to feed him the rock and try to pound the rock, especially with the forecast of, last I saw, 48% chance of thunderstorms in Jasper Friday night. So
game time. So it's football weather, Chris.
Yeah, no doubt. It's starting to chill out a little bit, starting to cool off a bit. And any football fan has to be excited for this matchup. And I think that's going to be awesome to see 2 programs with 2 first-year head coaches trying to run the table and prove that they're the guy. They were the right guy for the job. Obviously, Pickens County, the home team, 2-1 so far this season. Union County 0-2 in search of their first win under the Michael Perry era as head coach of the Panthers. Now, again, I think running the football for either side is going to be key. Protecting the football, as always, especially with these wet-like conditions and the turf going to be wet. I think Pickens County has a turf field. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, so it's going to be real slippery. And unfortunately, there's not going to be any holes that you'll have to deal with or, mud spots that you're going to have to worry about. But it is going to be slippery, and it's going to be a great game. And glad that Team FYN Sports and Friday Night Pressbox has selected this game as the game of the week. RJ, before we wrap up with this segment and we hear from Tim Tao and Jake West right here on the Friday Night Pressbox show, powered by Team FYN Sports, what are your 3 keys to succeed for the Friday night victory for Pickens County to come out on top?
Consistency on offense, being able to have a balanced attack with the passing game and the run game. Defensively, stopping the offense, the Union Panther offense on 3rd and 4th downs, should they choose to go for them. Being able to be more consistent there, and also smart tackling, good tackling, especially if it's going to rain, going to make pads slipperier. You got to make sure you wrap up. You got to have a couple friends with you for gang tackles and all that. So consistency on offense, better job of getting off the field for the defense, and good tackling.
Yeah, I like that. Now that you put emphasis on avoiding those arm tackles, hit down low, bring the guy down, have as many teammates help out as needed before someone breaks free or your hand slips off a jersey, off a pad, whatnot, to bring down the ball carrier. Now, I think my 3 takeaways or my 3 keys to succeed for Union County this Friday night in Jasper as they look to hand Jasper the Dragons their second loss on the year. I think number 1 starts with being able to be productive with the football first and foremost. I know that early on in the games against Fannin and against Chestatee, the offense has been very, very slow. And again, it took a quarter and a half before Union was able to score a touchdown against Chestatee 2 weeks ago. So a fast-paced offense, consistency, even if it takes a few plays to get down the field, as long as you're over that 50-yard line, that's a good drive for this Panther offense based on this season. Number 2, the tackling is going to be key. Even before the rainy conditions, the Panthers have made several arm tackles, or better yet, attempted several arm tackles, and have not been able to bring down the ball carrier for the Rebels or the War Eagles too. So avoid those arm tackles, hit down low. And then number 3, I think there's got to be a utilization of I guess you could say secret sauce in this game is senior kicker number 82, Kyler Robbins. Has not played varsity football in his career until this season. And against Chestatee, had his first career punt, plenty of hang time, might have been the best high school punt that I've seen in person and called a game. And it was recovered by Union County special teamers there in the third quarter, as it had plenty of hang time, plenty of leg. And also they sent out Kyler in his first ever varsity game to attempt a 51-yard field goal. So they have a lot of confidence in this guy. And I have a lot of confidence in Kyler Robbins. So those are my 3 keys to succeed for Union County. Number 1, effective proficiency on offense. Number 2, make those key tackles, hit down low on anybody with the ball that's wearing green. And number 3, see what Kyler Robbins can do in any situation in which you feel comfortable with him kicking the ball. Take that opportunity and put up those 3 points. So again, I'm Chris Mathis. For this segment of our Game of the Week, joined by Team FYN sports reporter for the Pickens County Dragons, RJ Casey, and we'll turn things over to Tim Tao and Jake West. Thank you guys for tuning in.
At Circuit World, we offer a wide selection of major appliances, name brands like Whirlpool, LG, Frigidaire, and more. Looking for furniture? Come by and browse our showroom or check out the endless aisle, a touchscreen kiosk with thousands of options. Need electronics, gaming computers, laptops, desktops, tablets? We have it all. OLED or QLED, 4K or high def. We have the selection to get you the TV of your dreams. And don't forget, at Circuit World, your credit is always good. So ask about our convenient payment options and 120 days, same as cash. Come see us today at one of our 5 area locations.
It's an opportunity you can't miss. Days Chevrolet in Jasper is stepping up and paying top dollar for your trade-in. Any make, any model. Days wants it, and we're paying top dollar to get it. So, what'll you do with all that cash? Shop for your new Chevy at DaveChevroletJasper.com. New vehicles are arriving weekly, or shop from our great selection of pre-owned inventory. Don't delay. Come get cash for your vehicle today at Days Chevrolet in Jasper.
Days Chevrolet, Days gets it done.
Find new roads.
Hey, girl. Back so soon?
Yeah.
Third time this morning.
Feeling too familiar with the bathroom these days? It's not just you.
Hey, girl. Look who made it 15 minutes.
At Erlanger Urology, we make it easy to talk about overactive bladder and treatments that work.
Hey, girl, you not coming in?
No, I'm good.
Well, okay. I'll be here because I'm stuck.
Learn more at itsnotjustyou.com. Erlanger Urology.
In 1981, Reed Nicholson began selling tires out of an old barn in Mineral Bluff. Little did he know that he had just laid the groundwork for the most trusted names in automotive services in the Blue Ridge area. In 1997, Nicholson Tire Center became what it is today, holding the same values of faith, family, and great customer service. 2 locations to serve you, and the Blue Ridge location is currently expanding to offer fast service and the largest U-Haul provider in Georgia. Nicholson Tire Center, Blue Ridge, and Mineral Bluff.
Welcome back to the North Georgia Friday Night Press Box, live here on Team FYN Sports. Great stuff there from Chris Mathis and RJ Casey about the Union Pickens game. Really looking forward to that game Friday night. It's going to be a fun environment down in Jasper as Grant Myers and Michael Perry, 2 first-year coaches, go head-to-head. It will be a fun time. We look forward to seeing how it goes. Joining me now is Team FYN Sports Director Jake West. Jake, you had the privilege of being at Murphy and Rabun County last week. If you don't care, briefly take us through what you thought about the Rabun County Wildcats. Are they the number 1 team in the AA? What do you think?
Yeah, Rabun County, it's kind of it's kind of hard for me to say whether they are as advertised or not because of the game that Murphy played against them. Murphy turned the ball over 5 times in the first half, and they weren't forced turnovers. Murphy turned the ball over, couldn't get out of their own way. But other than the turnovers that Murphy forced themselves on Murphy that were self-inflicted, Rabun County played very good. Gunnar Stockton didn't really throw the ball over the top as much as I expected him to. Kind of seems like he's making his living off just little dump passes. They run one very impressive play. It's how they scored every long touchdown they had. I'm not quite sure how it's really legal. It kind of looks like a pick play to me, but they run a really good. They have a really good screen game. And they've got really good athletes. I mean, they just pretty much overpowered Murphy the entire game and definitely were in the driver's seat the whole time. But I don't think they're by far and away the best team in AA. I think they're better this year than they were last year. But I think there's teams in our area that can definitely compete with them. I think Fannin right now would give them all they want. Because I think Fannin athlete-wise matches up with them really well. And there's some other teams in our area that I think could definitely compete with Rabun. But Rabun County definitely a very good football team. I mean, Gunnar Stockton, he's not going to Georgia just off his looks.
Yeah, Gunner's a very good player. The Gibson receiver is a great player. They got a good offensive lineman in Bear Old. They've got a lot of players, Rabun. It'll be interesting to see as it comes down to it, if they are the number 1 team in AA, Fitzgerald and Callaway, I think something to say about that in the end. And who knows, maybe one of our teams up in the mountains could make a deep run. Who knows? We'll see. We made a deep one last year. Hopefully we're getting hot as the stretch goes on. As we're talking about Region 8 AA, Rabun's 2-1, Riverside's 1-1, Elbert's 1-1, Banks is 1-2, and Union's 0-2. Washington Wilkes travels to Elbert County Friday night. Union County Pickens, which RJ and Chris have spoke about, play. Rabun has picked up a game with a South Carolina opponent, and I apologize. I can't remember who they are actually playing, but that game just happened the other day. And in Fannin County, of course, playing Banks County. We're going to talk about that in just a few moments. Going on to Region 7 AA, though. Big week in Region 7 AA the last week. Sorry, Jake, go ahead.
I think Rabun's actually traveling to South Carolina, and I think that is a bigger South Carolina school.
Yes.
So Raven may have some trouble this week. I know Coach Shaw and all those guys over there, as well as a lot of teams in our area, just having trouble putting teams on the schedule and filling out the schedule. So not every day a North Georgia team's going to South Carolina to play a football game on Friday night.
No, and it's good to see. I love these out-of-state matchups. I love the Raven-Murphy matchups. I wish Fan and Murphy would happen, Hint there to the ADs and coaches listening. Not that they listen to this show or listen to anything we say, Jake, but we would love it. We would love it. So, anyways, that's a whole podcast in itself. We'll talk about Region 7 AA for a minute here. Last week of non-region matchups, you've got Fannin traveling the Banks, Dade County at Mount Zion Carroll, which will be a very good game. Dade County's 2-0 right now, and they'll play Mount Zion Carroll, who's 2-1. Chattooga and Heritage both are at 0-2. And the game I'm really looking forward to is Temple and Pepperell, and I believe updates too, Jake. So that'll be a fun one to keep an eye on.
Yeah, for sure. I think the Mount Zion game too will be very good. I think Mount Zion, a smaller team, I think they really got a chance against a bigger school in Dade County.
Yeah, Gordon Central and Gordon Lee also play, but I'm really looking forward to seeing Temple and Pepperell. Pepperell has played a gauntlet of a schedule so far. So you wonder if they're banged up at all, playing all those Region 5 AA teams. It'll be interesting to see. Fannin County does play Banks County. That's pretty interesting because, as many of you guys know, Chad Cheatham, our head coach, in his fourth season now, was an assistant coach at Banks County, took the head coaching job at Banks County. A few months later, Jim Pavo is no longer the head coach at Fannin County. Chad Cheatham sees an opportunity. Wow, this is my dream job. I played quarterback here. I want to come home and coach Fannin. And hires Chad Cheatham as the head coach. Our program's been changed ever since. So Chad Cheatham, for the first time, will go back to Banks County. And I'm going to air this short clip that he shared with me on Rebel Wrap Up on Wednesday about going back to Banks County. So listen carefully as I pull this clip up here about Cheatham returning to Banks County. And that was Chad Cheatham talking about going back to Banks County for the first time since he was the head coach there for a few months. So going to be fun down there, Banks County. If you're not traveling, I will be actually on the call on Rebel Radio and Rebel TV. So it'll be Chad Cheatham's kind of homecoming, even though he's home in Fannin County. He is going back to Banks County. So a lot of storylines this week in Region 7 AA for sure. Jake, Region 6 AAA, I'm very excited about this Sonoraville Rockmart game. I had a chance to see Sonoraville in person a few weeks ago, and this could be for first and second place in that region right now. Obviously, North Murray and Ringgold, two very good teams too. So that's a fun one.
Yeah, just from watching Sonoraville, you think they match up well with Rockmart and the things they do and the scheme they run?
Yeah, I want to see how they can continue with Rockmart's speed. Rockmart traditionally is very fast. Obviously not saying that Fannin County isn't fast, but when they played Sonoraville, but I think Rockmart may be a little bit quicker than Fannin County. So I definitely want to see if Sonoraville can match up with the speed that Rockmart has out on the edges and stuff. Just going around Region 6 AAA, Lafayette's at 2-1, Sonoraville's 2-0, Rockmart's 2-1, Adairsville's 3-0. That's a team we're not talking about either, is Adairsville, which we probably should be talking about. And if you're an Adairsville fan listening, throw shots at us for all you want to. We should be talking about you. You're 3-0. Ringgold's 3-0 was actually named the Georgia High School Football Daily Team of the Week this week. So great honor for Ringgold. North Murray 1-1. Kahula Creek, the surprise 2-1. Didn't fare well against Rockmart last week. Lost 42-7. Murray County 1-2. LFO 1-2. County and Lafayette, LFO at Ringgold, Rockmart, Sonoraville, Kahula Creek, and North Murray. So some exciting games in Region 6 AAA this week. Region 7 AAA, Jake. This is Cherokee Bluffs region, and I just don't see anybody even coming close to them. You may disagree. They're 3-0. White County's 1-3. Dawson's 1-3. I think Dawson County's down. I think White County, even though they just had a win over Pickens County, I think they're a little bit down than they were last year. Gilmer is up. Well, I will say this. The Gilmer Bobcats are up. Lumpkin County's still down. North Hall's a little down. Lumpkin's 0-3. North Hall's 1-2. And West Hall's 2-1. But at the end, I still think it's Cherokee Bluff, White, Dawson, and North Hall in the playoffs. I think Gilmer can try to make a little bit of noise here. Maybe pull an upset to possibly get in. But Jake, you may disagree, but I think it's Cherokee Bluffs region.
No, I agree with you 100%, but I do think I don't think it's crazy to say Gilmer ends up in the playoffs this year. Ends up in the 2 or 3 spot in the region with as down as the region is.
Yeah, it would be great to see, and great job by Paul Standard and what he's done so far. Just some games around the region there. Chestatee, North Hall will host Chestatee. Lumpkin will host St. Francis. St. Francis is 0-3. Cherokee Bluff will travel to Lakeside. I believe that is the only region games this week in Region 7 AAA. So, obviously, early on, Cherokee Bluff is rolling. We'll see how it pans out. Just going right quick, the Region 7 AAA, Pickens County's region, Central and Cedartown. Central's 2-1. Cedartown's 2-0. Heritage is 2-0. Northwest is 2-2. Pickens 2-1. Ridgeland 1-3, and Southeast Whitfield 1-3. Heritage actually travels to Darlington. That'll be a fun matchup. Southeast Whitfield, who is actually a member of the region, but they're playing a non-region schedule, so they're on here on the Max Prep schedule. They travel to Armucci. Central travels to Villa Rica. That'll be a fun game. And then Union County and Pickens, of course, playing. They'll wind up the Region 7 4A schedule. So it's going to be another fun week of football, Jake. If you briefly, there's a lot of people that do follow North Carolina. What's going on the North Carolina side of things? How's the Smoky Mountain Conference playing out so far? And as soon as I say that, I think we lose Jake. So hate that happened. But, we're Can't wait to get it started. Follow Team FYN Sports and the Friday Night Press Box for updates. Thank you guys for joining the show this week. We'll be back next week as we really kick off the football season with the region game starting. We can't wait.